Did you know that you can trigger your camera wirelessly with PocketWizards? You probably do if you watch my show, but there may be more to it than you think. What's this? A Rebel T1i. More importantly, what's under this rubber thing here? I call it a remote camera port. Canon calls it a remote camera terminal. But what really matters is this is where you plug a cable in when you want to trigger your camera wirelessly. Here's a 7D. Notice how it has a very different remote camera port than the Rebel. Okay, say you're shooting with Flex TT5s. What cable do you use? Different cameras have different remote ports. We make 3 different kinds of cables for each one of those remote ports. How do you choose? Well, I talked about this a little bit in a previous episode. Watch it, it's really good. But let's get into it in a bit more detail. The first step in finding the right cable for you is identifying the gear you already have. I have a T1i, as you know, but now what? Check this out, the cable finder. The cable finder will find the right cables for your equipment. It'll give you every option you have, which for most cameras will be 3 different kinds of cables. To keep things simple, I'm just going to talk about how these cables work with the Flex TT5 today. If you've used our cable finder before, you'll know that we recommend that you use ACC cables with this radio. I've got a CM-E3 ACC right here. It's designed to be used with the Rebel series of cameras. ACC cables will work with the Flex TT5 right out of the box. You can even synchronize remote TTL flashes with your remote camera. But there will be a delay between shots for the remote camera, so you can only fire it once every couple seconds. You can get rid of the delay completely if you turn on basic trigger mode with the PocketWizard utility. Here's an example with the 5D. I've got my Flex connected with a CM-N3 ACC cable, and when I press the test button on my Mini, the camera fires. But if I continuously press it, you can see the camera only fires once every couple of seconds. If you need the camera to fire quicker than that, you can just set your radios to basic trigger mode. I have mine set on that for C2. Set them both to C2, and now if I press test, I can continuously trigger the camera as fast as the camera can fire. Technically, you can use bottom shoe disable mode to do the same thing. Bottom shoe disable mode shuts off the pins on the Flex's hot shoe, stopping any kind of communications with the camera, which is what can slow down remote camera triggering in the first place. If you're mounting your Flex in a way that shorts these pins out, don't worry about it. The Flex is designed to handle that, and you don't need to turn on bottom shoe disable mode. Apart from ACC cables, there are also normal and pre-trigger cables. Normal cables are designed to work with the +2 and the Multimax, and they don't have any special features. Pre-trigger cables have a little switch in line with the cable itself. When you flip the switch, it makes the camera act like you're holding down the shutter button halfway, which means it'll autofocus and meter and be really consistent shot to shot. I have a CM-E3-P cable right here. You can see the little box inside the packaging. These kinds of cables, normal ones and pre-triggers, won't work with the Flex TT5 right out of the box. You have to enable basic trigger mode in the PocketWizard utility. Keep in mind too that when basic trigger mode is on, you won't be able to synchronize TTL flashes with your remote camera, but you can still use them in manual mode. The cable finder can do more than just find remote camera cables. It can also find flash sync cables. There's a bazillion different kinds of sync ports on flashes, but if you check out the cable finder, you'll see that you can select from a huge list of flashes and it'll give you the right cords. I hope I've managed to demystify some of the remote camera process. If you have any other questions, feel free to just shoot us an email. Check out the inquiry page on PocketWizard.com. If you have an idea for a future PWTV episode, tell me about it. And tell me about it by leaving a comment right on this YouTube video. Until next time.